Hello everyone and welcome back to the new series. As you can see, we have raised our power level to enter our creative form, and today we'll be looking at some redstone. Now, I am not some kind of great redstone oracle or anything, but I will be doing my absolute best to teach you everything that I know in a way that will be easy to understand, and, you know, maybe I'll learn something new what with making the series and all. If you've got suggestions for other stuff for me to try to build and make happen in Minecraft, feel free to let them let those ideas shine in the comment section. Without further ado, let's get right into this, and I'll show you what we'll be building today. So, we're going to make our way into the redstone labs right over here, and into our very first classroom where the first lesson will take place. So, for today's machine, we are going to need to know a few basic principles about redstone, and we're going to need these four components. So, that is a simple stone pressure plate. The recipe is right there. It's just 2 stone. We've got the sticky piston. This is the only thing that might take you a little longer to make. It does involve having a slime ball. We've got our redstone repeater over there. You can right click it to set an interval. And the redstone torch. And so the recipes for these things are over here, except for the sticky piston. I'll show you that in a moment. So to make a stone pressure plate, you need 2 stones set like this on a crafting table. All you do is you step on it and it sends out a redstone signal. It's activating this piston right now. This is the repeater recipe. So this is all it is. You need 3 stone, 2 redstone torches, and 1 redstone dust. That is how you make the torch. And if we come over to this side of the room, we've got the recipe for the sticky piston, as you can see, and, well, the recipe for the piston, and you then make it into a sticky piston by putting it like this in a crafting table. So, what a redstone repeater does is it takes in a redstone signal from this side and is going to put it out on the other. Now, you can use this to extend redstone signals. If you just have, let's say, a torch powering some redstone, this is only going to power it up to, well, it used to be 12 blocks, I'm not sure, so, well, you can see that it's still a little redder than this inactive one. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12... And, although, it only seems to go completely dark over here. Huh. Maybe it's a bit longer than I thought. 14, 15, 16, 17. Really? Well, and so, if the math is right, it shouldn't activate this one. But it'll activate this one. Okay. So it turns out I was a little off with my knowledge. It happens, okay? So anyway, a torch will power stuff. If you have redstone leading into this thing, it'll power on and send a signal going out that way. But anyway, these are the 4 components that we are going to be using. Now, there's some stuff that you just need to know how to work. So, for example, just gonna throw that over there. So, number 1, redstone torches not only give power to stuff that's immediately adjacent, they give power to stuff that's above them, and you can power blocks. So what this means is that if I have a torch, let's say, and I put a block on it, this block is now powered, so anything I put on this block will get powered as well. So if I put some redstone over here, you can see that it turns on, because this block has power, is powered, basically. So, now that that's out of the way, Another concept over here is that for some strange reason, don't ask me why this works, because this block isn't powered, right? There's nothing happening over here, but case in point, I believe that if I remove that block, this whole thing should still work. So, yep. So for some reason, when you power a piston with a torch or what have you, it also powers the piston below it. It's some kind of weird black magic thing, whatever. Because we're using a torch, and as we've learned, a torch powers the block above it, this piston gets extended as well. So you notice that if I remove the block, the piston retracts, but as soon as I add the block back, off it goes because this block is powered. So by using only one torch, we can actually power 3 pistons at once. So next concepts. Using powered blocks and all that, we can set up something like this. I have no idea what to call this, but basically we have this block that has this torch on it. When we power this block, this torch gets turned off. This torch, when turned on, is powering this block above it, but that's not happening right now because if you were to power this block, it would then turn this torch off. So if I take away this torch that is sending power into this block, the top torch over there should turn off. There we go. So you see, because this torch is powering this block, a torch on a powered block gets turned off. So if we power this block, this torch will get turned off, which will stop affecting this block, and this torch will turn on. You see, you can basically just... It's one way to manipulate redstone signals, right? The last concept we're going to need for this video is this one. So basically, if you have a line of redstone with a block on it, and then you have something like a pressure plate, when you stand on this pressure plate, it'll actually send power down to this redstone line. So if I can do this right, this is why I've extended the redstone over here. If I stand on this, that should turn on. There you go. Now the reason why we need this is because what we are going to build is this little guy right here. So this door is going to be what we're going to build today. So as you see, you step on the pressure plates, the door opens, you step away, the door closes. It's kind of a, it's a sliding door like you'd have at the supermarket. For some reason I call them Star Trek doors, but that's not how Star Trek doors work, so yeah. So, that is pretty much all you're going to need to know. I think I went over it pretty decently. If you still have any questions, feel free to post them in the comment section, or just rewind the video and watch it again, because I think I covered everything. Okay, so time to look at the item list. So, coming over here, you can see that we've done away with the wall and extended a little area for us to work with. So now, these are all the materials that you're going to need. Oftentimes, when I see redstone tutorials, they give you a list of materials that then works out to be less than you need, because they'll show you redstone repeaters already made, torches already made. What this does is that if you have nothing, if you're just starting a world or something, and you still need to go gather these materials, you won't account for the stone that you'll need for repeaters, the redstone that you'll waste on torches, and so this is the very basic of what you need. These are all the base materials that you need to make this happen. So, we're going to get all these into our inventory, and I'm going to just make everything in front of you. So, I suggest that you start by making the pressure plates. So you're going to need 4 of those. So like this. Then I suggest you make the redstone torches, because you won't be using sticks for anything else. So you can just shift click, There you go. Now, since we're doing this, let's make our repeaters. We'll use 4 of them. And we should have 6 torches left and a bunch of redstone. There we go. So now comes the time for the pistons, which I believe go like this. And I believe this is it. There we go. We make all the pistons and we add our slime balls for sticky pistons. So after you've crafted all the materials that I will be putting in the corner over there, you should have something like this. And these are sort of the medium stage materials that you'll need. If you already have all of this, there you go. If you didn't, you've got the base materials to go and find everything you need. So let's get this show on the road. I'm going to come over here and let me grab a building block. So basically, you want your pressure plates right there. These blocks will have the sliding door, and you want 2 more pressure plates like so. We're going to need to apply one of the principles that we saw. So basically, if you'll remember, we learned that when you have a pressure plate with redstone underneath, let's review, you will activate the redstone when you step on the pressure plate. Now the reason I'm using stone pressure plates is because for some reason the iron and gold pressure plates don't give off as strong a redstone signal for whatever reason when we stand on them. So there we go. You can see that we've got a whole area that gets active, a whole area of redstone gets activated by these pressure plates. So let's try and keep this organized. So we've used pressure plates, off to the void with you. We've used about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 redstone dust, so off to the void with you. There we go. So now we're going to place our pistons. They'll have to be 2 blocks away from where we want our door to go. So we'll just place them. There we go. This is what we've got. Now, if you'll recall, the way we activate these 3 pistons is by having the old torch right there. You see that? You remember that? I showed you that. So, place another one on this side. We can do away with this bottom block. It does nothing. There we go. We've used 2 torches, so let's just throw 2 torches into the void. There we are. And the pistons. This is what we've got, right? Now, we're going to want to power this block to turn off this torch. So, we're going to put a repeater right there. A repeater right there. And so, when this repeater gets activated, it's going to turn off this torch, which is going to retract the pistons. I'm just going to put in the door right away. There we are. This still does nothing. And as you see, we still haven't connected the bits. Now, here comes an interesting part. So, what I'm going to do to activate this thing is I'm going to have some redstone dust right here. And so, a block behind it, and some redstone dust. And so that's 2 more redstone dust that we've used, so off to the void with you. And now we're going to apply one of the other concepts that I mentioned, which is that when you have 2 torches sequentially, like diagonally, like that, the torch on the lower block powers this block, which deactivates the torch on it. And this is why I'm mentioning this, right? I'm going to place a torch here, which is going to activate this redstone, which is going to activate this thing, which is going to power this block and deactivate this torch, and all of this retracts. So, if I invert this signal, so if I place a torch on this block, that torch that I place is going to power this block, which will deactivate this torch, and everything will go back to normal. There we go. Just like that. So I don't know if you can understand the chain that's happening here. I mean, it might be a bit too much, but I promise I've I've said everything you need. Just go back, rewind the video if you didn't get it. Basically, if this torch is turned off, this is turned off. So we're going to have to deactivate this torch somehow, so that then this will activate, powering this redstone, powering that, and retracting the thing. So what we're going to need here, and before we do that, let's keep things organized. Let's actually, okay, before keeping things organized, let's actually do this on that side, right? So, need a torch right here, and then another torch right there. Okay, so we've used all our torches, I believe. That's 6. So, off you go. Oh, okay. Off you go. And we've used 2 repeaters. Off you go. So, here's why we have 2 more repeaters. In order to trigger this whole chain reaction over here, we're going to power this block with a repeater, which is going to unpower this torch, which means this torch will turn on, and all of this will turn on, making the door do what we want it to do. So, I'm going to place a repeater right there. We're going to do the same on this side. Place a repeater right there. And that's it for our repeaters. See ya! So now we connect up this circuit on either side, and you can probably see where this is going. We're going to connect this up like so, and we are done, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to extend this just a little bit so we can have a place to stand. So let's recap. Once I step on these pressure plates, this redstone will turn on, which will send a signal to this repeater. This repeater will cause these torches to switch. So when this block gets powered by this repeater, this torch will turn off, which will unpower this block, which means that this torch will turn on. So when it turns on, this will activate. That block will get powered, which will turn off this torch, which means that the pistons are going to retract. So, if I've done my calculations right, everything should work. There we are. When I step off of it, well guys, I hope you've enjoyed this first episode of whatever it is I'm calling this. I'm not really sure. Redstone tutorials? M4 Vincent Redstone tutorials? Whatever it is. I had fun making this. I had a lot of fun making the intro and all that stuff, in case you didn't notice. I know I'm an absolute child, not literally, copper please. And yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed, I hope you'll try it out. In the next episode, we might still use this design, but maybe make it work with a button or something, a sort of toggle system. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.